Hello. So today we're going to be taking apart a Game Boy Advance. So my friend bought a whole lot of old early 2000s game consoles and hardware and stuff, and he said that one of them was broken. This Game Boy Advance, purple Game Boy Advance, the classic color, is broken. And from what I understand, they just put batteries on it and tried turning it on. It didn't work. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take it apart and see why it's not working, see if I can fix it. It did not come with a back cover. There's a little bit of corrosion on the battery terminals, but all in all, it's pretty clean. It does need to be a little cleaner, but we'll get there when we get there. Okay, I don't know if I lost everything about what I said. My hand camera turned off, and then I accidentally unplugged my face camera, so oops. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get it cracked open. I have my trusty iFixit screwdriver that I've had for many, many years. And the screws in this are tri-lobe. I don't know, try to get it as close as possible. You can see all the crud, you can see they're tri-lobe. Nintendo did not want you getting in this. Oh, I just noticed it has a little, a keychain thing on it. I never noticed that before. Here are my supplies before I forget. I've got a bunch of bamboo toothpicks and Q-tips and brown cap isopropyl alcohol. This is very important. It has to be brown cap. Otherwise, it just is normal isopropyl alcohol with a normal cap. But I'm going to take these out of the lid. And we're going to use this as a screw organizer. So, little holes, the little ribs in the lid are going to be perfect for holding my screws, keeping them organized, just in case they're different lengths. This would be my first time ever opening this, so I don't actually know if they are different lengths or not. This was very jankily put together setup. This is a table I got from my stepmom. They have, whoops, geez, I gotta get a smaller bit. Her and my dad have a little floating house cabin thing, and this table was in it when they bought it, and it's kind of terrible. It doesn't stay. The feet are made out of like hard plastic, and if you like move it, sit down too hard next to it, it slides around. Luckily, my house upstairs is carpet, so I just put it up there, and I've got my laptop, I've got an air purifier and a plant, a lamp, I've got all sorts of things up here. So far, every screw looks like it's the same length, except for, I know for a fact that this one in the battery compartment, I don't know if you can see that, this one is going to be a lot smaller. Okay, I can feel it, it's coming apart. Now, I have a purple light on that I might eventually turn off. Why do I have paint? I have paint all over my hands. I have a purple light on right next to me that I might turn off. And I can't really tell if it looks any good or not. That's actually Phillips. That is a very small Phillips head screw. I recently learned that Robertson screws were selected, right? Robertson being, let's see if I have one. The square drive. Square drive is Robertson. Originally, auto manufacturers wanted to use those instead of Phillips head. But I believe it was Ford could not secure rights from, I'll just say Philip J. Robertson. I don't remember what his name is. They couldn't secure the rights to use the Robertson screw from Philip J. Robertson. So they ended up going with Phillips, which I think was a mistake. I don't really like Phillips head screws, especially in electrical stuff. Okay, the back is coming off. That looks almost completely fine, actually. There's a little bit of corrosion. Whoops, there's a little bit of corrosion, looks like right here. You can see that. It's a little blue. Everything else looks okay. Don't know exactly what I'm doing. but I will try my best. So I'll put all these separate parts aside so that I can give them a nice clean. Take the shoulder buttons out too. Oh. Okay. Cool. Another cool thing. So I've taken apart an DS Lite, and I believe the shoulder buttons on that had coiled springs. The ones with the little legs on both ends. This just has a little tab of metal. It's interesting to see the changes between, I believe this one actually is from 2006. I don't know when they originally launched, around that time, right? 2004 to 2005. I have a laptop right here, by the way, for research. Release date 2001. Yeah, and then this one is, let's put all these on the side. This one is copyright 2000. Okay, never mind. I thought this was a later model. Cool. AGB 001. All right. I'm going to, I believe I should unhook the display connector, because it looks like it wants to hinge like this, but I don't really want to damage that cable. So I'm gonna just, on both ends, pull that out, I believe. There we go. Like that. I'll use a toothpick to go in underneath it and pull it out. There. Nice and gentle. Looks like one Phillips head screw right here that holds it on. So we're going to take that out. I'll keep that on the side. I'm not going to... I'll put it in my little screw organizer. So I pulled up the Wikipedia page for this in order to do some fun facts, but there aren't really any fun facts. I looked up a fun fact. I just looked up Game Boy Advance fun fact, and I found an article that was, I guess the author was talking to somebody. Oh, there's another one. I didn't even see that. Hidden in between the capacitors. The author was talking to somebody about what game to play or something. I don't know. It felt like a recipe with all the preamble that you don't really care about. All right. It is free. Sweet. So it does not look particularly dirty. It looks quite clean. Let me turn that light off. We can get a better look. It's not purple. It doesn't look particularly dirty. Like I said, this is the only spot that concerns me. But other than that, it doesn't really look dirty. Just some dust and grime. Now, I don't have a soldering iron, but looking at it, it doesn't look like it's going to need a soldering iron. Unless it is just completely dead. I don't know why it would be. Because it doesn't really look that corroded on the battery terminals. Now, I do want to get these out, which look like they can just slide out, because I don't want to use isopropyl alcohol on the plastic. That could... I don't know what this is made out of. ABS, yeah, so it would definitely melt it. So we don't want to touch the case with isopropyl alcohol, because that can melt it. It looks like, right here, I can just press them out. I don't know if you can see that. I gotta turn the blue light back on. And I'm gonna just press them out using my Phillips head, because it should work just fine. No, it did not work just fine. Change of plans. We're gonna switch to a flathead, otherwise known as slotted. Now, on my screw tier list, I put slotted at the very bottom. I hate slotted screws. Because when you're trying to work fast being, you know, more than a snail's pace, you cannot loosen or tighten them quickly. Wow, that is really stuck in there. you can't loosen or tighten them quickly because due to the nature of the slotted screw, it's a slot going all the way through the head. So if you're not perfectly steady with your screwdriver, it's going to fly out. And even if you are perfectly steady with your screwdriver, it's going to fly out anyways. That's just the nature of slotted screws. So the corrosion really shouldn't be a problem if it's just here. The tip of this is actually what contacts the battery and holds spring tension, right? And then this other contact also looks perfectly clean. But I might not be able to get it out. I pressed up on here and it came out a little bit more. This side does not want to come out. This one is steadfast, but it looks like they designed it so you can just press it out here, but it is not moving. I hope the audio sounds all right. I believe I'm recording audio on both of the cameras and also another microphone right here, but it's I keep turning away from it to talk to this camera, so it might not sound very good. I feel like I'm losing my voice. Wow. That's new, too. This is the most I've talked in a... not in a row, but like at a time. All day today. And yesterday, too. I didn't talk very much yesterday. What if I put it in... So I'm going to put it in here and twist. Hopefully I don't decimate the plastic, but... Okay. It's working. It came out a little bit more. I have the Loop-de-Loop and Pull song from SpongeBob stuck in my head right now. I don't know why. It is getting very hot. I think I'm going to have to change shirts really quick. Alright, I've switched to a rat with some sort of, a shirt with some sort of rodent wearing a hat on it. And turn my air conditioner on. There we go. Alright, we've broken it free. It is, yeah, that is very, very corroded. So, it's got a lot of corrosion on it, if the camera will focus on it. It's very corroded. If you can see the bluish green here. But it's not preventing it from making contact. So what this does is it takes the two batteries at 1.5 volts each, I believe. I could be wrong about that. I don't remember the voltage on a battery, AA battery. But it runs them in series, which increases their voltage. This is corroded or blued or something, I'm not really sure. And then on the other side, it's perfectly fine. So I'm inclined to believe that they just put the batteries in backwards, and that's why it didn't turn on. Because, you know, it's an honest mistake. Because you look at it and you're like, well, it's corroded, whatever, I'll throw some batteries in there, and if it doesn't turn on, it's broken. But I'm built different. I take things apart, and then I put them back together broken. And we're gonna just delicately move all of our ABS out of the way, and we're gonna see if we can get this corrosion off. Now, I don't think it's the end of the world to have a little bit on there. It could spread. I don't know if it does. Yeah, I don't really know exactly what I'm doing. My first experience with taking apart a Nintendo product was taking apart my DS Lite that I had and killing it. I just totally destroyed it. I still have the pieces too. I took it apart a long time ago. Let's take this toothpick, see if we can scrape some of this off. So it's kind of coming off. I mean, it's really stuck on there because it's a chemical reaction with the battery acid and the metal, right? I believe it's oxidizing it. It's not just corrosion. It's specifically oxidizing it. So I shouldn't say specifically when I don't know what I'm talking about, but so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rub it around, get all the corrosion off the contact surfaces. And then what we can do is we can put it back in the case temporarily so that it'll hold batteries. And if we hear sound coming from the speaker, that means that we know it's working. Yeah. Yeah, so it is a little bit of corrosion on the negative terminal. And it does look like it's coming off. That could potentially be a problem. There could be corrosion that made its way underneath the solder, maybe. But it doesn't seem like it's particularly loose. Right? It goes all the way through, and I feel like we would see a little bit of, oh, wait a second. So it looks like there's some corrosion here as well, and here, but only a little bit. While we're in here, go ahead and clean it up. Now, it is very blue. I don't know why it's that blue. Because as far as I know, this did not have blue batteries in it. When I picked it up, it actually had no batteries in it. So, all right, another thing that could be causing issues is the power switch is not working. I have a multimeter, and we can easily check that. I don't know which contacts. There seems to be 4 contacts. I don't know which one is which. I'd imagine the 2 on this side and then the 2 on this side get connected for free. So I'm going to go blow my nose. Sorry. I'm going to go blow my nose, and I'm going to find a multimeter. So I'll be right back. So here's an old Fluke. Now, it's a reliable meter, but it stopped beeping. Doesn't mean the continuity doesn't work anymore, though. It will still tell me if there's continuity. Just sometimes doesn't beep. It's beeping today. Cool. Okay. So the 2 on the side have continuity. Then I'll check these 2. And then the 2 on this side did not have continuity. Now, I don't know exactly how this switch is supposed to work. That could be normal. I don't know. But I'm going to turn it on. And we're going to check now if there's any continuity at all between... Oh, hang on. I'm going to check if there's continuity between any of these contacts on the side and any of these on this side. So it looks like they're labeled 2, C, C, and 1. Now, 1 has continuity to the first C, but not the second C. 2 has continuity to neither of them. So that could potentially be, I don't know, some sort of way to discharge the capacitors. I don't know. But now we're going to check with the switch on, just to see what changes. So this one has... These 2 have about 6,000 ohms of resistance between them, C and 1. And then the other C and 1, also about 6,000, 6.3 kilo ohms. And same to 2. Maybe a little more. I believe it's working properly. Things are changing. My guess is, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this is actually set up. It's kind of strange, isn't it? Let's check to the negative. 146 ohms, 148 ohms, 148 ohms. Okay. 6,000. 140. Okay, now to the positive. Oh, interesting. Okay. It seems like it's working. I don't know. Potentially that's not correct. But as it stands now, I believe the switch is working. So what I'm going to do next is throw it back into the case. Put that on the floor. I'll grab it later. Throw it back into the case. And we can... Well... Yeah. I worked so hard to get this out, but I'll put it back in. Oh, hang on. Let me scrape some of that out of here. Just because I don't like how it looks. Directly onto the Game Boy. Good idea, me. Maybe I should be wearing gloves for that. I don't know. Alright. Now that I have the compressed air out, actually, let's give that a nice little blowout. The headphone jack, too. And potentiometers, like the volume control, can have issues, too, as well. Now, I don't think the volume control would prevent it from turning on. But dirty potentiometers can be crackly when you turn them. Not too big of a deal. Alright. I'm going to just put it back into the case. Just no screws, no buttons. Take all the buttons out. And that's interesting that it stuck to that. Oh, okay. There's actually a little peg. Cool. I'll take these out as well. This is all getting washed. And I'm not going to connect the screen again, just because that's a little too much effort. And I don't feel like putting that much effort in. Take our contact, put it back in. Slightly less corroded. Still very corroded, but slightly less. Okay. I think I understand why this wouldn't go back in. It's got a little hook that I believe I bent down. I might have done that by accident. Yeah, so that is not supposed to be bent. That is my bad. I bent that, pulling it out like a heathen. Okay, I bent it back into place. Now we should be able to put it back in. There. Cool. I don't really know why that prevented it from coming out, but it was bent from me prying on it for sure. But that's okay. I don't think that's coming back out unless I want it to come back out. Alright. Let's do this. Put the back cover back on. And I'm going to go get some batteries. Blow my nose again. And get a Game Boy game. Okay. I have some rechargeable batteries, and the only Game Boy Advance game I could find quickly was Namco Museum. So, something to point out about rechargeable AA's is that their nominal voltage is only 1.2 volts. So, potentially, the Game Boy will not turn on with these in. And, again, that's another problem that could have happened. Whoops, that's the wrong way. That's what could have happened with my friends. They probably just used rechargeable batteries. And I can't see the on. Hang on. I can't see the on switch. I gotta put that back in. They potentially just use rechargeable batteries, and the Game Boy will not turn on. Just be due to that. Just not enough voltage. Now, if it doesn't turn on with these, I'm gonna guess that that's the issue. Yeah, okay, I'm not hearing anything. Let me find some non-rechargeables. So, on my search for AA batteries, I found something that has AA batteries in it. Unfortunately, they're corroded. Actually, hang on. I just remembered. The meter in the container has Duracell Quantums, non-rechargeable. Conveniently enough, they're also power checked too. So, if you have seen the Technology Connections video about these specific batteries, not these ones, but older ones, they kind of fell out of fashion. These expire December 2025. They have a little bit of charge. This one's almost dead. This one's about half charged. The point is that they're power check batteries, long lost technology that have charge. So I'm going to put these in my Game Boy. These are non-rechargeable, which means they are 1.5 volts. And with any luck, okay. All right, that's really good news. I didn't do anything in particular to fix this, right? So my theory, I think, still stands. I think they just, which it's an honest mistake, I think that they just used rechargeable batteries and it wouldn't turn on. It's pretty cool though. These came out, whoa, that has a little bit of corrosion on it. How did I not notice that? These came out before I was born. They were released before I was born. I was born in 2002. I'm a youngin'. But it's really interesting. I have a PlayStation 1, I have a PlayStation 2. I also have a Dreamcast. And it's pretty cool having all these old consoles from before I even existed. I can't say I have nostalgia for them. It's weird. I can't say I have nostalgia for it, but I can't say I don't have nostalgia for it as well. Because, you know, I grew up with some of these things. Not me in particular, but like people I knew had consoles, had Game Boys. I have the most nostalgia for DSs, of course, because, you know, that's when I was old enough to play DS games when they came out, right? All right, let's see if I can get this ribbon cable back in. All right. Ribbon cable is back in. I'm going to put the bumpers in, put the batteries back in, put the cartridge back in. I forgot. Well, I'll just stick a piece of wood in there. There we go. I don't know if you can see that. Extremely dim because it is not backlit. I can just barely see it. We're going to play Miss Pacman. Seems like it's working. I wish I had another Game Boy Advance game to play. But, you know. Oh, wow. I am terrible at this. Cool. So that's great. What in the hell? Oh, I know what that is. Never mind. My cartridge has a paper sticker on the back of it because I bought it used for $4.99. Cool. Yeah. Well, I guess that's the first part of this done. All that's left is to clean it. Maybe I'll take some glamour shots of it, but it works. 24-year-old console. Works perfectly. I don't know. Pretty cool. Pretty excited. I'll keep that. I've got a shelf of knickknacks. You actually can kind of see it. This is the other side of the shelf. If you look right over there, I have a shelf of knickknacks that I keep a bunch of random stuff on. And this, when I'm not using it, obviously, is going to go right there. Maybe next to Marlboro Man. I don't know. I want to talk about, so there were 2 Game Boy Advances and 2 Game Boy Advance SPs. This was one of them. And then the other Game Boy Advance was a Toys R Us limited edition, which we didn't figure out until yesterday. Pretty cool. one of the Game Boy Advance SPs is also limited edition. It's like a light blue, silvery color. And it had some goo on the back of it. I don't know exactly what it was, just some crust, right? And my friends tried getting it off with Goof Off, and they rubbed some of the light blue coating off. I might be able to get them to send a picture of it, but it's just a normal silver Game Boy with like they wiped blue marker all over it, essentially. And they accidentally wiped some of the light blue off, leaving just silver underneath. And I looked it up, and those Game Boys are worth like $120. Now, the guy who bought it sold it to somebody else, but they lived together. And I don't know if he told the other guy how much they're worth, because I'm sure if he told him, he would not appreciate it, I think, knowing that they did that. Although I did mention that you can just probably buy a broken one because it's a clamshell design, right? Clamshell. It's this surface is what they rubbed off rubbed the blue off of. So, like with this, the screen is attached to the front case, right? I'd imagine Game Boy Advance SPs are also similar, so you would really just need to pop the back off and put a new one on. Problem solved. But if they are going for $120, I can't imagine that the 4 parts ones are going to be in particularly good condition. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that for them after this, once I get this all cleaned up. But yeah, I'm gonna wash these, make sure everything's clean, and I will be back. Thank you for watching. I don't know what to say. Maybe I'll just hard cut. Alright, so it's been a little while. I don't know, like an hour or so. I have decided, this is kind of recorded out of order. I'm not sure if I'm going to put cleaning it before, like after I took it apart, and before testing or after testing. I'm not sure. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning it as much as I can. Now, I don't really want to have to separate the screen from the front part of the case. So I'm just going to do some minor cleanup. It's not really that dirty anyways. There's some crud around the edges. And right before I started recording, it actually just scraped off with this pick. So I'm just going to do that, blow the dust out, and then we'll figure out how we can clean this end too. Because this one's a little bit dirtier, but it does have these stickers that I really don't want to damage. And then my plan with these is just to take them, put them in some soapy water, and scrub them with an old toothbrush. Where is it? But yeah, so let's wait on that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Also, I'm not doing the face cam. I'm missing one of my big SD cards, and all I have are really small ones, so it's just more effort than it's worth. I'm gonna go ahead and start scraping. So you can see a little bit of dirt and crud coming out. So this actually isn't on there perfectly symmetrically. It's got a wider gap on the left side than the right side. The top and bottom is pretty consistent, so I can really only get most of it out of the left side. But it looks a little better. There's still some you know, there's some dust and stuff, but it's not too bad. Surprisingly enough, it's pretty clean. It's looking a little better. It's not going to be 100%, but that's mostly because, you know, I don't have the resources. I don't have a new screen. I don't have a new piece of front plastic. It's well worn, and I think it'll shoot it. That's not terrible. Now the question is, can I get this stuff off? I might have to go get a bowl of soapy water, or I'll start scraping. I'll do a little bit of scraping. Get most of the big stuff off. I might have to get it a little wet. Sorry about the sound if you can hear that. I might have to get it a little wet to be able to get the rest of it off. But it does look like it's just scraping off with the toothpick. That's not too bad. I made some coffee. Because I was feeling a little... I don't know what the word would be. Not tired. I don't know. I just wanted some coffee. And, here, I'll grab the cup. I was editing the other footage I recorded of taking it apart and actually fixing it. And then I was like, well, you know, I might as well clean it. I can get the video out in a day, right? So let me grab the cup really quick. Here's my cup of coffee. Yeah. Put that here. That is the biggest coffee cup I have. I didn't grab it specifically because it was the biggest. It was the first one I laid my hands on. All right, so all through here, there's a little bit of dirt buildup. Right here, there's some unknown crust. But for the most part, you know, like the front, it's not too bad. I think maybe a little bowl of water or a cup of water on the Q-tips to be able to soften the dirt up and pick it up is going to be very helpful. All right. So a lot of my lighting was natural sunlight, so I'm going to have to dim my purple light. I have this questionably clean glass, and I think this is a dirty Q-tip. Doesn't matter. I'm going to just dip it in the water. Get it a little wet. Oh, yeah. Oh, like a dream. Then I'll use another Q-tip to get the water off. So that got a lot of the dirt off right there. And in this area as well. So I'll hit this part too. And some other random spots that looked like they might have been a little dirty. Like through here and right here. Areas that are touched a lot. Yeah, you can see the tip of the Q-tip is getting a little darker too. So it's definitely picking up something. As for the buttons, those are going to probably be a little more nasty. Require a little more scrubbing with actual solvents. Or surfactants, sorry. But the back, I think I can deal with just a mild clean. Water clean. Okay. Now we can get a lot of this battery acid out too. Stuff that was left in this battery compartment. Cool. Looking clean, looking purple, looking fancy. Well, it's looking purple. It's one of those. Now I will swap for the front part of the case, and there seems to be a dead bug in here. What is that? I don't know what that is. Looks vaguely bug-like. Hopefully it's not a bed bug. I'll just keep that. Keeping. Yeah, these buttons are way dirtier. So contrary to popular belief as well, water doesn't really conduct electricity. It's the impurities that make it conductive. So you can get electronics wet, and as long as you remove the water before turning them on, like, for example, if you dropped your phone in the toilet, you had to leave it in rice because the rice would absorb a lot of the water out of it, and it would generally revive the device. That's looking clean, looking purple, feeling clean. Now, because a lot of this crud came off without solvent, these shoulder buttons are very dirty. I just want to see what happens if I take Q-tip with water on it and rub it on there. It's working. Yeah, it's lifting all the dirt off. You can see it's a little hard to tell, but the dirt is coming off. Let's get a new Q-tip. Some more water. Of course, I guess that's really just surface dirt, isn't it? Who knows what other secrets lurk within the plastic. But presumably this has been sitting for so long, any germs or microbes or whatever that were on it, they're long gone. All right, let's compare this just right now to the other shoulder button. I don't know if you can see that. Looks to me like the R one is a little dirtier. I think that will work for me. So, whoops, accidentally touched the dirty end. I'm going to do the same thing to the R shoulder button. Just lift all the dirt off. Almost all the dirt. So let this be a lesson. You don't need soap to shower. You can just cover yourself with water. The dirt just falls off. Just kidding. Well, not entirely. Partially kidding. Use soap when you shower. That looks a lot better. There's a little bit left right here that I didn't see before. That is red. I wonder if that's paint or something that was left on here. It's coming off. Whatever it is, it's stained into it though. With my setup, I'm standing, and my this table is about waist height, so I can't see all the fine details. Actually, I suppose I could just lower the mic and bring a chair in. All right, I am now sitting. I apologize if you hear my squeaky chair. If you've ever watched any of my Twitch streams, this chair is one I've had for a long time. I actually recently replaced it with a different chair. I mean, shocker, right? But I kept it just in case I had a special guest stars. I haven't had any guest stars recently, but I've still kept it just in case. And now it's coming in handy. Most of the dirt is going to be underneath the case, like this right here. There's a little bit of yellow. I'm not sure what that is. It's not going to be it's not going to be touched. It's not going to be visible. Now we'll rinse and repeat, I guess. I'm running out of Q-tips. Awfully calming. There's something about videos like this that they're not quite ASMR. Like Wristwatch Revival is a channel I really like watching. And he just takes apart watches and cleans them and puts them back together. good. They're nice to fall asleep to. Just somebody commentating over doing a task like that. I would say mundane, but working on a wristwatch is anything but mundane. I think it's very, very involved, and you don't really see that very often. All right, so the D-pad cleaned up really well. Now the tiny face buttons. I don't know. These get touched a lot for sure. D-pad got touched a lot too, but it didn't really. It didn't have a lot of dirt on it. I'm not really sure why. The buttons, they don't look dirty. They are on the side though. Ooh, actually, that's kind of gross. That's kind of nasty. I don't know if you can see that. I suppose all the dirt on the surface really just gets picked back up by your fingers, right? Just by use. The ridges on your fingers acting like microscopic sandpaper. Or maybe the kid that had this before just had sandpaper fingers. I mean, there's really no way of knowing. Let's do B. Just a little bit. Cool. And then these, I don't know what to call them, shoulder plates. This one, you can tell it's been dropped. It has a little scratching. It's interesting that they would do that. They didn't design it to go fully back together on purpose. Right? Well, I suppose it could have just been an accent mark, right? They didn't want to have the shoulder button just sticking out, so they incorporated it into the side. Regardless, I'm going to give them a little brushing. It's not really cleaning, is it? It's not like wristwatch revival with his ultrasonic cleaner and his watch cleaner. That's not bad. These don't really seem like they're that dirty. Surprisingly enough. It's mostly just hiding in the crevasses, right? All the exterior seemed pretty clean except for just a little bit, couple spots. But even those cleaned up pretty fast. Now these, the rubber pads could be cleaned. I mean, I might as well, right? Just a little dry cleaning. I'll try to blow it off. How about that? Oh yeah, that totally works. Blow all the dirt directly at the parts I just cleaned. And the can's running out of air. So, this can, Surf On, right? Walmart brand, $5. $5. I would not recommend buying compressed air. I don't remember them being that expensive. The price just skyrocketed. So if you're planning on doing a bunch of cleanings, or just, blowing out the fans in your computer or something similar, I would definitely recommend getting a small air compressor or a vacuum, a battery-powered air duster. I've seen a few of those, and, all the tech YouTubers have them because they're really useful. All right. I'm going to go ahead and start putting it back together. So, we take all the buttons. They go back in their little homes. Everything's keyed and nice. I played Miss Pacman earlier through the Namco Museum. The buttons didn't seem like they weren't working, so I'm not too concerned with the... Ooh, there's a little bit of hair on this one. Hang on. I'm not too concerned with the... with cleaning the carbon or fixing it. Not that I could if I wanted to. Now, something I didn't realize is that the start and select buttons were part of their silicone carbon little contact pad. And silicone gets dirty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, just going to give it a little wash on the top. Nothing is coming off. Again, kind of surprised with how clean this was in the first place. But it is important to keep in mind that I'm not using anything other than water. There could be hidden dirt. All right. Now, let's take the other side of the case. No. Take this again. And I actually realized I was afraid of damaging the ribbon cable. But if you do it a little softly, a little more gentle, you can do it. You can hinge it over like this. Like that. Everything fits into place. Whoops. Well, now it's broken. Screen is attached. Buttons feel good. I will put the shoulders, the little shoulder accents back in. I am not putting them on the right sides. I suppose the shoulder buttons probably should have gone in first, shouldn't they? Oh, that's because I'm putting on the wrong side again. Oops. All right, left is in. Come on. Right is in. Yes. And now I will screw the board back into place. Take these little tiny screws. One goes here. And that didn't happen. And then the other one. They're both the same length, so it doesn't really matter where I put it. I don't remember where this one went. I think it was right here. I didn't realize my camera had stopped recording. Everything fit together well. We're putting the small screw back in the battery compartment. That is our last Phillips head screw. Now, everything else is tri-lobe. So they look like they're all the same length. Here's my container. But just to be safe, I'll put them back where they came out of. And I'll be careful not to over tighten them because we're, again, screwing them just back into plastic. And you can very easily strip the threads out of plastic. So something that might be fun after I get this all back together and working is putting a backlit screen in it, because this is an original Game Boy Advance, which has no backlit screen, which you may have seen if I put the cleaning after testing it, or you will see when I test it again. All right. Well, we will see or won't see. Probably won't see. It's very, very dim. All right, yeah, that's tight enough. Awesome. All right, Namco Museum. Make sure it's off. Put some batteries in. Turn it on. Here, I'll try to reflect the screen. It's really quiet. Do pole position. I remember trying to play this as a little kid and not understanding at all, and I probably still don't. I think I prefer to qualify. I think I qualified once. Do I have to shift? Do you have? Oh, no, it's just low and high gear. You get 2 gears. Whoops! Did I qualify? Am I qualifying? Did I qualify? Holy mother of God. Game over. Okay. This game is really nostalgic to me, even though I was terrible at all of the games on it. And I still am. Let's do Galaga. I loved Galaga way more than I loved Galaxar. Although I don't really remember the difference between the two of them other than Galaxar, you can't shoot multiple bullets. You can only do one at a time, right? Which is probably why I didn't like it as much. Actually, oh, I can just go back. Whoops. Let's do Galaxar. Yep. The lung spaceship. I missed. I missed again. Alright. Yeah. Well, something fun might be to do a backlit screen. Maybe there's a mod to make it louder. But yeah. Thank you for watching. I hope I cleaned it to your satisfaction. I'm not really concerned about it being super clean because it looks clean, it feels clean. It's not like coated in dirt, right? And it works. I think the most important fact is that it works, which is really cool. So definitely something I'm going to do next is buy a battery cover. I mean, purple is like the generic one, right? So surely there's tons of those on eBay. But yeah, pretty cool. I guess I'll do some glamour shots after this. I don't know. But yeah, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and check out my Twitch or my main YouTube channel, Iron Facebuster, where it's a little more upbeat than this. These videos I like to do a little calmer. It's a nice break, I think. But you might enjoy my other videos. They're a lot more edited, and the streams are a lot more energetic most of the time. Sometimes I'm a little tired, but yeah. I hope you enjoyed it.